Who killed Charlie Kirk? Of course, none of us know this and we can only speculate, and Charlie did have a lot of enemies. One can argue that the transgender community had a motive, that the homosexual community had a motive, that the liberal community had a motive, but the people with the greatest motive to kill Charlie Kirk are the Israelis, are the Zionists. And you may ask, how can that be when he was such a staunch supporter of Israel? And he was, for many years he was, until a couple of months ago. A couple of months ago, Charlie started asking questions, and I want you to watch these next few videos as a proof of that.
It's like, maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. Last question on this, Ben. I know this might be a tougher question, but Bibi said, quote, I didn't like how he said this, I'll be honest. You can't be MAGA if you're anti-Israel. If Bibi Netanyahu, if he does something I don't like, and if I criticize it, am I like a bad Christian?
Absolutely not.
What I find strange is that we're able to criticize the American government sometimes in the Christian world with more freedom than the Israeli government. To be pro-Israel means you believe in the nation of Israel, not necessarily the government of Israel. When Joe Biden was president, you and I we loved America, but we detested our government. And those two things beautifully coexisted.
Yeah, you never once said, "Hey, I'm out on
America."
On
of
America,
course it was the opposite.
Exactly.
And what they don't want is they don't want to be called bad Christians if they challenge a foreign government, which is what happens so often.
Right.
Like, you're a bad Christian if you have a question about a foreign government.
Right.
That creates backlash that I don't think people understand. For Megan, you're hitting on something very potent and important. Now, let me first say, I don't want to judge an entire group, because there's been many people in the pro-Israel world that have been very sweet, very kind, very nuanced, very Charlie, you're with us, you don't have to agree all the time. However, and I will say this, the behavior by a lot, both privately and publicly, are pushing people like you and me away. Not like we're going to be pro-Hamas, not like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite.
So now that we know that he was questioning the official Israeli narrative, that he was upset that his patriotism was being questioned because he was questioning the government of Benjamin Netanyahu, and that he was getting a lot of texts accusing him of being anti-Semite and so on, was Charlie Kirk more valuable to the Israelis dead than alive? It is obvious that they believed that he was turning on them. And given that Charlie had tens of millions of followers, one can easily see how the Zionists would start to panic. If they lost Charlie, they would lose tens of millions of conservative Christians in the United States, which is their base. This is the base of support for Zionism in this country. If they lost Charlie, they would have lost all of that. So they had to act. They had to act now. They couldn't wait to see which way Charlie was going to turn. If he turned full 180, then they would have lost all these millions of people. But if they killed him now, then they could control the narrative. They could control Charlie's narrative and say that he died being pro-Israel, that he was a staunch supporter of Israel, and now they own his narrative. Whereas if they waited and he changed his tune, they would no longer be able to do that. So I believe that Charlie was more valuable to the Israelis dead now, so they can use him as a martyr, than he was alive. And I think that is why they had the greatest motive. Please let me know in the comments what you think. Peace be with you.